I think he's just gonna make it there. But we do have the bonuses and we've got the archers. This could be our big moment. Hello Wanderers, welcome back to our Crusader Kings 3 roleplay series with the All Under Heaven DLC following none other than Kong Zhaojian, the descendant of Confucius himself. And in that last episode, we were given a, I wouldn't necessarily say prestigious posting, though perhaps a slightly more important posting than our last one. And that comes after, on the heels of our performance in the Great Capital Examination. Now, for those of you who have watched my series before and who, have been watching the channel for a while, you guys know I like to go on long tangents sometimes at the beginnings of episodes, and there's gonna be one today because I kind of went down a little bit of a rabbit hole. The whole series up until this point, I hadn't really caught up on the history, the context. I knew a little bit, but not really that much, honestly, about the Tang period specifically. I'm a big fan of like the Romance of the Three Kingdoms, so the Three Kingdoms period, like I mentioned, I think in the last episode. So I know a little bit more about that, but Tang Dynasty period, not really that familiar with. So I went down on a rabbit hole, as I sometimes do, and went just learning about a lot of different things. So I'm probably going to talk a little bit about that and how that relates to our character here, Kong Zhaojian. And yeah, that's something that's probably going to take maybe 10 or 15 minutes. So if you really just want to like see the game timer ticking along for whatever reason, feel free to like skip 10 minutes or so. But if you're interested in a little bit of history and a little bit of how that history applies to our character here, then stick around for a little bit because I want to go into a few different things. Now, one of those things is I was a little bit curious about the capital examinations and how that plays a role in things, because I wasn't really sure exactly what part of that, what role that played in society. And obviously it plays a very important part considering how prominent the mechanic is in the game, but I wasn't really sure like what that meant contextually in the society of that time period. And as I was researching that and looking into it a little bit, I came to understand just how important it was that Zhaojian got was the first place in that capital examination before the emperor himself. Like, this is something that would essentially make him, probably essentially famous, to achieve that ranking, to be, to be brought before the emperor himself. This wasn't just like, oh yeah, you're number one, that's great, you're the top of the class. This is something that would have skyrocketed Zhaojian in terms of his prestige and in terms of where his place is in society. And we actually saw that by being brought up all the way to the fifth merit rank here, which is quite prestigious and, is something that was probably very fitting considering our performance. So I just want to underscore how important it was that we got that positioning in the capital examination. Like, people would be taking notice of Zhaojian. It matters especially that he was like a descendant of Confucius. He's married into a prestigious family. I kind of looked it up as well, and like the Li family here, that our family, obviously the emperor's dynasty is also a Li dynasty. But our wife's family might have also come from a prestigious branch of a different branch of the Li dynasty. I won't go too far into that, but yeah, I mean, just the fact that Zhaojian would have performed this well, been brought before the emperor himself, the emperor spoke to us, and just the prestige and the honor from that. Yeah, we can't understate that. This would literally, this was something that not many people would achieve. and he achieved it at like a a reasonable age. Like from what I could tell, like the age that he achieved that was probably somewhat, I guess, not necessarily expected, but it was a reasonable age for him to pass the capital examinations. But passing them at the level that he did was something that only a select few ever achieve. So yeah, that was very important. And I can imagine that our frontier posting is a little bit of a test in some ways, because of that. It's not like you pass the examinations and suddenly you're, made a minister or something, but you would definitely be given an important position to see if you were, cut of the right stuff, essentially. We passed the exams. Now we're getting this practical experience to see. And if we do well, then yeah, we're probably going to get like a very high appointment because our character achieved something that very, very few people would. So I think that's important to just kind of keep note of. To go along with that, one thing just related to that, I realized that the color of the character's robes here is actually rather important. I think that Paradox has gone and made this relatively accurate. So the ranking of your character is related to the color of your robe. So if you're 3rd rank or higher, so we'll see that this character is 2nd rank. We should see that any character who is 3rd rank or higher will have purple robes, which we see here. Yep, 3rd rank. If you're like 4th or 5th rank, you wear red robes, and then like lower ranks wear blue and green robes. Apparently this was an actual thing. Did not realize this. The one thing is that you're never allowed to wear yellow robes because the yellow robes are the emperor's color, and that is expressly forbidden. So apparently, yeah, we've been dressing wrong. So I'm actually gonna go and change that right now to red robes because we're the 5th rank. Yeah, did not realize that. Like I said, another thing that I learned about the dynasties and or about the culture in this period. Now, one other kind of thing that came up when we were discussing some characters in the Discord. If you haven't joined the Discord, there should be a link in the description or something like that. But we were kind of discussing why Zhao Jian hasn't taken a concubine yet. And my thoughts on that are, pretty simple. He has a wife who is his soulmate, and his wife has given him an heir, which in Confucian belief systems is like paramount. Like continuing your lineage, like the male descendant lineage, is very, very, very important. And part of the reason probably why a lot of officials and important people took concubines in order to maintain that male line lineage. However, even though taking concubines was common in this time period, it doesn't necessarily mean that taking concubines was considered like I guess morally righteous. It was something that was definitely not seen as in a bad way because basically, everybody was doing it. But like having concubines didn't necessarily mean that you were like a more righteous or a more moral person. It meant that you were probably just following in line with the typical customs of the elite. And so, yeah, because I was wondering, should we get concubines? Like, what would him not having concubines be seen as? And I think that from what I can tell, it wouldn't necessarily be seen as a bad thing that Zhao Jian doesn't have concubines. And even though, and this actually fits into the fact that it is giving us a slight minus to prestige. Essentially, the way I see it is that Zhao Jian would be seen as somebody who is like essentially very morally, we're called the righteous here. But like, he's like, people would see him as maybe being a little bit stiff-necked, a little bit, strict with his morals. And this could be seen as a good thing. Like, if we take a look at the religion that we have, the Jingshu religion, temperance and loyalty are considered virtuous. Greed and gluttony are considered sins. And so that plays into this whole idea that, yeah, even though people might be kind of looking down on him, people might see the fact that he doesn't have concubines. Basically, like, is he too poor to afford concubines? Is he too, or does he think that he's a little bit better than us? Maybe because, he's devoted himself to one woman. That could explain the fact that we're getting a little bit of a lower prestige because of that. But it would also be considered like, oh, he's a very temperate man. He doesn't go to excess. He doesn't have all of these concubines. He's not building out this massive household that he can't take care of. And so it might be seen as kind of virtuous by some. Some might see him as like maybe a bit hoity-toity or a bit like too, too stiff-necked for them. But, we can contrast that to the emperor, who has like 1 million concubines and is lazy and lustful and arbitrary, right? So it's not like having concubines is necessarily righteous. It's something that, everybody, they were all doing back then. But the fact that Zhao Jian is a one-woman kind of man definitely wouldn't be, I don't think he would be looked down upon, or people wouldn't be expecting him to take concubines. They'd probably just think that he's like a little bit strict with his morals, and some people might see that as a good thing. Others might see that as like he's kind of, thinks that he's better than them. So that's the way that I see that. I think we're getting to the end of my rant. I did go and change the name of our son to Kong Guangse. I think I'm pronouncing that right, Guangse. And this is actually the not canonical, but the historical name of Zhao Jian's first line descendant. And so, somebody pointed out in the comments, and I thought that it made sense to go with the actual historical name of Zhao Jian's son. These are obviously historical characters. So, last thing, I swear, last thing. Has it been 10 minutes? Yeah, probably about 10 minutes. So I'm wrapping up now. If you skipped ahead and you just happen to end up at this part. One interesting thing that Paradox didn't do when it comes to Zhao Jian and the Kong Dynasty, I don't know if this changes in the later start dates, but from what I could tell, the Kong Dynasty essentially had an official title, which was maybe not necessarily, how to put it? It was an official title, and it came with land and holdings and lots of like different things. It was they were known as like the Dukes. That's probably just a translation, obviously, but the Dukes of Wengshuan, and they held the seat of Khufu, and they held the lands around here with that title, and they were essentially charged with like, keeping up the Temple of Confucius, because this is apparently where Confucius himself was originally from. And I know some people have mentioned this in the comments and stuff before, that we should try to come back here. And I'm not really exactly sure why Paradox chose not to have our character have this title. Apparently, from what I can tell, the Kong family held these lands here pretty much consecutively for very long periods, and only didn't hold this title for kind of like short periods in between when there was like war and strife and stuff. So the way I'm seeing it is like Zhao Jian's period, like the early time during it, was one of those times where like the war and strife of like maybe a previous like 20 or 50 years or whatever it is, we didn't end up holding that title. But I'd like to think that, considering our performance in the Imperial exams, we would be given that customary and honorary title back. And obviously I can't just, I could go and give myself the county here, but I don't really want to do that. But I figured out a way around that, and that is just to move our state. And we can move our state over here to Chufu. I think I'm pronouncing that right. And the way I'm seeing it, we have our estate here now. We have the money. It actually just cost us I think 30 coins or whatever, 30 gold, to move from Chengdu over to Chufu here. And I'd like to think that this is essentially us being restored to this title, and being restored to the position of caretakers of the Confucian temple here. Obviously, it is not actually built up yet, so I'm hoping that we can somehow gain this title in the future. But the way I see it, having our villa here is the closest thing I can get without really going in and messing around with the titles that we hold, and I don't really want to do that. Like, I'm fine with kind of taking things as they are, and we've been granted this title here. But I think having our estate here represents the fact that we have been given this customary and honorary title that the Kong family has received. And to go along with that, I think we should build an ancestral shrine. We should build up the shrine to Confucius here in Chufu, where it is meant to be. And so, yeah, that's me kind of making history right. So, yeah, there we go. Anyways, that was my, maybe like, about 15-minute rant. So, right on time. If you're coming in now, you missed a bunch of me rambling. So, it is what it is in any case. Let's let time roll on a little bit here before we get into anything else. So we just spent a bunch of money. One thing that I want to do, we are building up a lot of construction here in our new frontier province. I do believe we have some space to... oh, this is expensive. Yeah, all of these things are extremely expensive. Ooh, nice, our wife is pregnant. I think we can build up something... Oh, I thought there was a space where we could... Oh yeah, in the city over here. Oh yeah, I forgot about the city. We can build something up in the city here. I'm thinking that we're gonna build... taxes could be good. Quarries could be good though. Building construction time. -2% isn't amazing though. I want to build something... Guilds? Guilds is good. Development growth. It's a little expensive. Blacksmiths. Cattle pastures. Cattle pastures seems like it makes sense because this is like, I don't know, kind of seems like the type of land where you'd probably have cattle pastures. So I think we're going to build that. Gives us a little money, some levies and stuff like that. So it's a little bit of a boost to the troops and a little bit of boost on the money, which I think is kind of a nice little mix there. So let's get building that as well. This guy holds it, the magistrate, Shi Ji Wei. So, yeah, there we go. Slowly, maybe very slowly, getting better at pronouncing some of these things. We did get a learning lifestyle perk, which is cool because now we can get literati +2 merit per month, which is nice, and Confucian education trade experience gain. We're pretty close to being maxed out on that, but only one more, and we will get Scholar, which is learning +3. A bunch of nice little bonuses, and it is considered virtuous in our religion, so makes perfect sense there. We have been appointed at an antiquarian, which is nice. So we get a little bit of income from our court position as well. We are Sun Huan's antiquarian. Our courtier has been taught by Zhang Hao. Kulasikaran. Oh gosh, yeah, we'll call him Kula. Kula here has been taught by our erudite instructor Zhang Hao, and this is obviously the son of Nijiraya. So, yeah, he's 6 years old. Wow, crazy. Kid's already 6. Time is starting to pass along in this. There's never a quiet moment. My son and heir Kong Guangse is so full of questions. I do my best to answer his curiosity, but sometimes I cannot help but get exhausted by the constant stream of thoughts and queries. When a father and a mother love each other very much, oh, he's curious about that kind of thing. Although curious is not too bad of a trait for our kid to get, especially since Do we want to make, I think we're probably going to make him a sculler like us. We'll see which one he takes, but I feel like we would probably make him a sculler as well. We're a family of scullers, so yeah, we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, I highly suspect that our kid's gonna end up as a sculler as well. I know you guys like me to switch it up sometimes, and you know, maybe our kid should be like diplomat. We'll see what the game gives them, but yeah, leave your comments down below if you think I should do something a little different with that. But a potent physic governance issue has appeared in Xinjiao within the prefecture of Xinjiao. Oh, what is this? Potent physic. The situation allows you to choose an outcome. Oh, okay. This is in Xiarong, and let us take a look. A potent new curative is being peddled in the marketplace, and the thronging mass of buyers is threatening public order. So we need to do something about this because we are the governor. Seldom does a peddler setting up shop in the marketplace elicit government interest, but it seems one such individual in Xinjiao is promoting an elixir so effective that the rowdy crowds it draws are rapidly becoming a disturbance to public order. Any curative that inspires such demand is worth investigating. Well, yeah, we have to go and check it out, obviously. So we will. I'm not going to worry about the danger. It's very minimal. All right, we're going to head on out. And it's very short, but okay, well, we got the danger. It's been snowing for the past few days and the cold is unbearable. I look around to see what my entourage is struggling with it as well. So I decide to travel on foot alongside them. After we walk through the snowstorm for another hour, Sun Wanqing pulls me aside, shaking and yelps, "Please, my liege, I cannot feel my ears anymore." I look closer at the ear. Ooh, okay. He could get frostbite. I think I read about this in a manuscript. We must keep on moving. I'm gonna try to help him. Frostbite treatment successful. There we go. So that's good. Yeah, and we're gonna head through over to Xiarong. Potent physic. My attendants have dispersed the mollusk crowd, and I stand before the medicine seller and its concoctions. This sly huckster's eye takes in the quality of my garments and hones in on this lucrative new prospect. Who is this guy? Ekom. Holy crap, where the heck is this guy from? Yeah, right. No, there is no way. That is such a far journey. I mean, I know some people from Europe made it there in this time, but like, holy crap, like going across like the Sahara and like making it all the way through there. I mean, maybe. I mean, that seems like a very long journey. That is that is an Ivar surpassing journey right there. My attendants, yeah. Would you be interested in inquiring one or perhaps several? Pack your things and take your quackery elsewhere. Holding of Xinjiao gets expelled popular peddler. I do believe I will down the hatch. We gain potent physic for 5 years. Oh, fertility plus 40. Ooh, well, you know, yeah, it can't hurt to get a little extra, you know. A little extra boost in the bedroom, so that's what we're gonna go for. And I think as we return home, we do encounter another interesting character who has shown up on our doorstep, as so many have, and that is Tenzin Drakchi. Now, this is an interesting character. You'll see that he is actually a Tibetan man, and he comes from a noble lineage. So his father is the Prabhu of Ningqi, which is down here in the kingdom of U. I think that's probably not how you pronounce it, but regardless, this was a warrior and like a mercenary warrior, a nobleman who was fighting for the unification of the Tibetan lands here. However, things didn't go well. He suffered a major defeat and essentially was sent into exile, and his exile has landed him on our doorstep over here in northern China, and we have taken him in as our as one of our new warriors here, and I think the position of guardsman is rather fitting. Oh gosh. Well, we might need them because apparently there's a hostile peasant uprising in our lands, and I feel like we probably need to do something about that, but we don't have any men-at-arms regiments, and we don't have very much money. I feel like we need to do something about that, though. Can we do anything about these guys? Should we get some bowmen? What are bowmen gonna be good against? Like, are bowmen gonna be better, or light footmen gonna be better? Toughness could help. The bowmen are, honestly, bowmen are probably better against peasants because they ain't gonna be wearing a lot. So we might need to drop the cash to get these bowmen here, and we're gonna station them up in Yanmen to get that little bonus, and we're gonna try to let them... Oh yeah, look at this. The freaking rebellions are just going like crazy. Oh, where are we? Yeah, there's lots of... Holy man. There's a lot of rebellions going on here. The Emperor is... he's just... Well, you can tell what he's doing here. Oh, and he took a male concubine, which is apparently not necessarily... you know, it's shunned in our religion, but it's not something that was really seen, you know, too badly, I guess. Regardless, I mean, the man is like, he's not a good emperor. This is a terrible emperor. It is absolutely no surprise that we're halfway towards the division era, and definitely not nearly as far towards something a little bit better. So things are getting worse in the empire. We should definitely try to do what we can to solve that. We do have some worries. Unfortunately, we can't actually even get any champions. Oh yeah, look at these guys. Now we got a Duke Fukang of the Red Turbans Rebellion. Oh, okay, this must be a historical one. I've heard of the Yellow Turbans Rebellion, but this is obviously a Red Turbans Rebellion. Man, the Yellow Turbans Rebellion sounds really familiar. But I don't know about the Red Turbans Rebellion. But the fact that he's facing, holy crap, look at this. Yeah, look at this peasant uprising. Leader Shi Yuan Li of the Peasant Revolt. Like, the Empire is in dire straits right now, you guys. We'll have to do what we can. Hey, but luck, at least we had another son, Kong Renzi. Renzi? Yeah, I don't know. That's how I'll say it. Kong Renzi. I like that. That sounds kind of cool. Give me suggestions if you want for other names, but I don't mind that one. All right, we have some time here. We can let these... Oh no, but Renzi is sick. He'll be okay. We can let our bowmen build up a little bit here. We should be okay to do that. Oh, look at that. Mentorship scheme invalidated. Chongji has nothing more that he can teach us because we have become an immaculate sage ourselves. Hell yes. Kong Jiao Zhen is living up to the way as a true role model. We certainly are. Like, we are definitely one of the greatest descendants of our more famous ancestor. I do want to mark down our great-grandfather here. Or no, our grandfather-in-law, because he's an important character in the story, and he's 67, so he's not going to live that much longer. It's unfortunate that his son died, so our father-in-law died from stress, and our wife's elder brother fell from a mountain trail, so only the younger brother, Li Yu, lives to continue on the dynasty. If he dies, then yeah, it's just the two sisters here. So interesting things going on there. What comes around, I let out a sigh of relief, putting my writing materials aside. I let my eyes wander the length of the small, much-thumbed journal, a collection of scribbles that rarely leaves my side. Rearing my head, I notice that the morning sunlight has given way to sunset. Just how long have I been belaboring my verbiage? Then I noticed my daughter Kong Gong looking upon me intrigued. Now, where was I? Your display may have a lasting impact on Kong Gong. Oh, okay, cool. Higher liege entered Regency. Oh, okay. There's been an influx of hand-scribbled notes strewn about my court recently. The source, my daughter Kongong, hunched over in an empty train bowl, scribbling to her heart's content. I consider my own writing habit, my journal rich with reflections. Perhaps I've shared a worthwhile practice. Hey, look, my daughter has gained the trait journaler. That's pretty cool. She's a little bit bossy and she's going for the stewardship education, but I think it's kind of cool that she's, you know, our eldest daughter has taken on the journaling aspect. We'll try to find her a good marriage prospect when the time comes for that. All right, the rebels are... they're sieging. We're gonna need to pull up our troops soon. Oh man, they're way gonna outnumber us. And we don't have any champions, that's the thing. Like, our troops are not gonna be that strong. I don't know. I don't know if we'll be able to pull this off. I gotta wait till we can get as many bowmen as we can here, and then just going, we can't afford mercenaries, right? No, but we're gonna have to do our best. We have to try, right? It's too bad that we can't get any... Oh, gosh. Leader Giamut of the populist uprising? Kurmazta? Sogdians? Where the heck are Sogdians in our empire? Sogdians are like from way over here. Yeah, I don't think that we... no idea about that. Apparently there's a Sogdian diaspora here. That oh man, the empire is falling. Holy crap, we came in at an interesting time in things here, but Kong Jiaojian is gonna do his best. I think the reason why we can't get champions is because we're a civil governor, not a military governor. But as I try to make out the tiny letters on the scroll before me, I feel a headache building once again. Why do scribes insist on writing such small symbols? I squint and try it again. Nothing short of a miracle. With the aid of a stone of glass, even old men struggling with bad eyesight could read with ease. Chongji, I require your assistance. I need one of these stones. I don't have the money for it. Sell everything, which is impossible. No. I think we'll get assistance from our good friend and possibly some sort of uncle relation. And he has gained a favor hook on us, but yeah, that gives us a little boost there. Okay, I think we might be able to get maybe another month or two here. Unfortunately, the town of Xiarong is needed to hold out for a little while, but... Most benign governor, a Han woman bows deeply as she steps into the throne hall. I come bearing the seal of the great prefect Qi Yin. My lord bids me pay respects to a fellow member of the honored advancement movement. She takes in her surroundings before continuing. Prefect Qi Yin holds that the realm must focus on innovations. The search for personal wealth and power is selfish and futile. We must all advance, and advance we shall. Han develops 5 progress towards horseshoes. There's no advancement without the advancement movement. Oh, that's a nice stress release. Yeah, I think we will agree, and that takes down our stress, which was starting to become a little bit of a problem. I'm hoping that we can get another month in here. The siege is, let's see, 6 months left. Okay, I think we can... We'll let the town hold out. We're gonna build up our army a little bit. We'll get that 100 men at arms there. And, man, yeah, no, we can't. We probably won't be able to afford the light footmen, but we can become a sculler. So let us do that right there. Let's get the sculler trait right there. Okay. 4 months left. There's no way we're gonna have... Oh, we might... Man, spending that money to grab the light footmen. I don't think we got the time. We wouldn't have the time to get the light footmen. It would cost us too much money. I think that we have to... Oh, man. Can we last one more month here? 3 months left. There we go. Okay, raise all the armies. Okay, let's raise them up. 340, 390. Oh, we might be able to win this. Who do we have leading our army? Is it going to be Tenzin Drakchi? Ying Zhang? Hao Jia. Hao Jia could do it. I mean, Hao Jia. I mean, he's our. Oh, no, I mean, Ying Zhang. Well, you know what? Ying Zhang. He was our commander back down when we were here, but only because we were forced to. But we did come to respect the man. Tenzin Drakchi is the newcomer. I think that we have to have Ying Zhang lead the army here. Hopefully he'll get there in time. He might just be able to make it here. Come on. Yeah, I think we're just gonna make it. 40 days left. I think he's just gonna make it there. Okay, he's got enough troops. Ying Zhang, you're not a defender, that's for sure. He's an offensive specialist. But we do have the bonuses and we've got the archers. This could be our big moment to really prove that, you know, even though we are not a military leader, we are a governor of great wisdom, and we did what we needed to do, and we're going to send these men in here under Ying Zhang, and they are hopefully going to be able to defeat these peasant rebels here, these bandits, essentially. Leaderless bandits, really. It's just roving bands. Can our forces defeat them? I think that we are going to be able to pull this off. Ying Zhang will be able to defeat the bandits who are besieging the city just before it falls. And that, I think, is going to be... I mean, that is good to see. That is Kong Zhaojian doing what he does best in, and that is using his mind and using the people who serve him to accomplish their goals. And we just defeated those bandits. Yes! That is how we do it around here. And credit to Ying Zhang. You know what? He is our army supervisor. We had to give him the command, even though it said that some of the other people were better. But no, you have to trust in your commander. Yeah, could we have given it to Hao Jia or even the new guy, Tenzin Drakchi? We could have for the mechanical advantage, but no. The Ying Zhang is our army commander. And even though he's not a good man, that is the position. You know, he's the one who commands our army. We had to put him in charge, even if that wasn't the most mechanically advantageous thing to do. And it still paid off. I think I don't know if we would have done that. We might have been able to do it without the 100 archers, but I think those 100 archers made a pretty big difference. And so I am quite pleased with the outcome of that, but I'm not pleased to see a million different bandit groups having risen up around the empire. And it's pretty much, oh, actually, okay, it's not all in the north. It's in the south. It's in the south and it's in the north. The north seems to be a hotbed of rebel activity, but it's difficult to tell where the biggest ones are. As the yellow, where's the yellow? Okay, the Red Turbans rebellions down in the southern provinces here, over here in Lingxi. But yeah, this is things are looking dire for the Empire here. I mean, we are heading very swiftly towards the division era, which is going to make things very interesting for our character and very interesting in this game. This is kind of picking up, honestly. I'm actually really having fun with this, and I'm enjoying the story of our character, Zhao Jian, and I'm enjoying what's happening in the game. I mean, the mechanics of All Under Heaven, amazing. I hope that they go and do the same thing for feudal governments to make them just as fun and just as interesting with as much flavor. I highly suspect they're going to do that. Probably in the next year, I'm sure we're going to see a feudal update to make it just as interesting in some of these other government types. But yeah, I'm loving it so far. I think that we're going to end the episode here because that was pretty much a perfect note to end things off on, as the Empire is in desperate need of help. And I don't know if Zhao Zhen's going to be able to do anything about that, but we're going to do our best to survive it. So until that time, Wanderers, thank you for watching. I will see you in the next episode.